This week we're going to be making some delightful cupcakes. Oh yes, you heard me right, cupcakes. Did you really think it was going to be that simple? I don't think so. Have a little goosey ganders at these bad boys. See, I told you it wasn't going to be that simple. So we're going to have an assortment of spooky Halloween cupcakes. So the first one is a blood eye chocolate cupcake, which is going to consist of raspberry puree, chocolate soil, and those candy eyes. The second one is going to be a ghoulish eye cupcake, which is going to consist of a green buttercream and also some of those candied eyes. And then finally, the third one, we're going to be doing a brain cupcake, which is going to consist of marshmallow and raspberry puree. But also not forgetting, all of these cupcakes are actually going to be red velvet, as you've already seen. So we've actually got a lot going on here, but don't worry, I'm going to show you how to make these delightful beauties. So if you're enjoying the content so far, feel free as well to hit the subscribe button and also hit that bell notification to let you know when the videos are ready. So now it's time to crack on with those spooky cupcakes. And of course, the first thing we want to do is preheat that oven to 180 Celsius or 350 Fahrenheit. Watch the cobweb. So now for this red velvet mix for the cupcakes. It seems a little complicated as we're going to need 3 different bowls with lots of different ingredients, and I'm going to show you how to combine them all together to make that beautiful red velvet mix. So for the first bowl we want 250 grams of cake flour, which is 1.9 cups. In addition, 1 teaspoon of salt, 15 grams of cocoa powder, which is 2 tablespoons. Second bowl we're going to need some soft... Not again. So once your 113 grams or 4 ounces of unsalted butter is nice and soft, give it a beat on a low speed for the second bowl. Then we want to add 300 grams or 1.5 cups of caster sugar or fine granulated sugar, 1 teaspoon of that vanilla extract. So once the butter and sugar has creamed together, we're going to add 2 eggs, one at a time. And once that's incorporated, turn it off and just set that aside. And then we're going to need 240 ml or 1 cup of bloody buttermilk. I'm only joking. It's 2 teaspoons of red food coloring dye in there as well. So pour the red buttermilk straight into the butter and then turn it on to a low. Kind of looks like pink though, right? And then once that bloody mess is incorporated, add the first bowl with the flour mix straight in there. Without making too much of a mess on your KitchenAid, right? And you only want to beat this just until all the lumps are gone and it's fully incorporated. So next, grab yourself a cupcake tray and then fill them with the liners. So we've got 12 cupcakes here, and from looking at the mix, we're probably going to be making 24, so we might have to repeat this process once again. So you only want to fill these up about 3/4 of the way. Actually, I changed that to half a way. So give them a little tap around, just to steady out the level. And then we're going to pop these into the oven for about 20 to 25 minutes. So while those cupcakes are cooking, we're going to start on the raspberry puree. So we're going to need 340 grams or 12 ounces of frozen raspberries straight into a medium-sized pan, followed by 3 tablespoons of caster sugar or fine granulated sugar. And then take it over to the stove, place it onto a medium heat, give it a stir occasionally. Don't worry, there's plenty of moisture in those raspberries to stop it from burning. So cook this down for roughly about 20 minutes. Now, considering we've already got a load of chocolate soil already here, I feel like it would be a bit of a waste if I make it. But you can refer to this recipe from my spooky s'more tart, which is going to be in the description box below. And just to give you a little run through for this chocolate soil, we placed in a medium pan 100 grams or 8 tablespoons of caster sugar or fine granulated sugar with 4 tablespoons of water. Placed it onto a medium heat, bringing it up to a boil of 113 Celsius or 235 Fahrenheit. And if you don't have a thermometer, you can tell when it starts to change color. Then we added 70 grams or 2.4 ounces of chopped up milk chocolate, whisking that in off the heat, and then you get yourself some beautiful chocolate soil. It's as simple as that. So there we go. The first batch is out and they are looking absolutely delightful. So take these out, put them on a cooling rack, and then put the second batch in. So once your raspberry mix is looking something like this, where it's not too thick, still a little bit loose, this is a perfect time to blend it. So turn off the heat and we can start blending this bad boy. So pop the puree into a tub. Then we're going to blend it until it's nice and smooth. And then pass it through a sieve to get rid of those raspberry pips. And there we go, there is our beautiful smooth raspberry puree ready for those cupcakes. So next we're going to do the mallow for the brain cupcakes. I'm not going to go too much into detail on this. I'm going to show you the ingredients, but you can refer to my video on the s'mores pie, which will give you more tips on this mallow. So we're going to start off with 3 egg whites and keep the yolk so you can make some cheeky scrambled egg. Oh! This always happens to me, I just get too excited. So once you're done yolking around, you need 75 grams or 3/4 of a cup of caster sugar or fine granulated sugar. Did I say joking or yoking? Next, we want 85 grams or 2 tablespoons of golden syrup. In addition, a little cheeky pinch of salt and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Then we're going to grab ourselves a whisk and whisk this on the stove onto a pan of simmering water for about 8 to 10 minutes until it's thick, smooth, and silky. And so once you've tired out your arm and your mallow is looking something like this, then you're good to go. So you want to pop your mallow into a piping bag with a small piping nozzle. And then lastly, we need to make the 2 buttercreams, 1 chocolate and then 1 green buttercream as well. So for the chocolate buttercream, we just need 1 packet of butter, which is 113 grams or 4 ounces. Obviously soft, well, ish. Actually, we probably want to double this up as we're going to need it for the brain cupcakes and also the blood eye cupcakes. Then we're going to need 6 tablespoons of icing sugar and 1 tablespoon of cocoa powder. And then carefully give that a whisk until it's all incorporated. I say carefully, but no one's perfect, right? So once your buttercream's ready, set that aside. Oh God. And then for the green buttercream, we want 1 packet of butter, and I promise it's 1 this time. 3 tablespoons of icing sugar or powdered sugar, and then ½ a teaspoon of leaf green food gel dye. So once your butter's looking like Incredible Hulk, now we're ready to start garnishing those cupcakes. As we've got 21 cupcakes, this is an easy split into 3, so we're going to have 7 each. So the first one we're going to do is the blood eye cupcakes, and we want some of that chocolate buttercream just to place over the top. And you don't need to be too fancy with this as we're going to be putting the soil over the top. Then we're topping it off with that chocolate soil. Then just a little touch of the raspberry puree over the top. Spread it out any shape, way or form. And then we got some bloodshot candied eyes. And then we got some little candy bones just to stick into that raspberry puree. And there is our first cupcake ready to go. So next is the green eye ghoul. And we're going to start off with that green buttercream over the top. Exactly the same as the last one, just tapping it around. And then grab yourself a small amount of green fondant icing and making some very small little balls, rolling them in your hands and making all sorts of different sizes, about 3 or 4 per each cupcake. And then we're going to use some of the marshmallow just to top up with some nice little tiny balls on there as well. And you can do lots of different sizes just to give it some variation. And then we're going to finish off with an assortment of different candy eye sizes. And there is the second lot, the ghoulish eye cupcakes. Looking fantastic. And then for the last ones, we're going to be using that chocolate buttercream again. And we're just going to make a nice thick dome shape ready to pipe on that marshmallow for that brain. And you're looking for something like this. And then once they've ovaled off, start piping that mallow for that brain detail on there. Just wiggling back and forth, making that nice, beautiful texture with that mallow. So don't worry too much about the piping and overthink this. I know, I really need to wise up. And if your raspberry puree is a little thick, you can pop some into a bowl with a little touch of water to get a nice blood consistency. Grab your silicone brush and just carefully dab the raspberry puree over the mallow. And then we've got a few little tiny instruments just to finish off those brain cupcakes. And there we have it. There is our brain cupcakes. Very spooky. So there we have it. There is our spooky assortment of cupcakes. So obviously the first one we did was the bloodshot eye with the raspberry puree and the chocolate soil. And the second one we did was the ghoulish eye with the green buttercream, the mallow, and also the fondant icing and those candied eyes. And then for the grand finale, we had the brain cupcake. So we had the chocolate buttercream, the mallow on top for the detail, the raspberry puree for the blood, and then the sharp candied instruments just to finish it off. Bloody amazing. And I almost forgot to mention, for all of these assortment of cupcakes, we used a velvet sponge. Absolutely delightful. So I'm not going to try every single one of these. I'm just going to try one, and I think it has to be the brain cake. So without making too much mess, we're just going to unravel this. Wow. The velvet sponge is so soft, fluffy, and delicious. Then the chocolate buttercream just mixing in with the mallow and that sharpness of the raspberry puree. Oh my goodness me. This is an absolute spooky delight. So that's it for this week, folks. I hope you've enjoyed it. I really had to think about this one. No puns intended. If you want to give these cupcakes a go, feel free to do so. The list of ingredients will be down below in the description box, as always. If you enjoyed the video, feel free as well to give a like or dislike, and feel free to leave a comment, always appreciated. And if you want to catch me cooking live on Twitch, feel free to come stop by. Monday to Thursday, 10 AM Mountain Time we start. Link is in the description box below, as always. But until next week, folks, you stay safe, awesome, and amazing.